Today, I'm setting the F1 grid on equal car performance to see which driver will come out on top when every single car performs like each other. Surely with this setting, we're going to see a much better and closer race than we've seen for the majority of this last 2023 F1 season. Well, this is how qualifying shaped up for the race ahead. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, on pole position ahead of Sainz and Leclerc. Tsunoda has had a blinder up into P4. Surprised that the likes of Verstappen are down in P8, and then at the bottom, a little bit frustrating to see Oscar Piastri, because he's an F2 original rookie driver in the game. He's all the way down at the bottom, but yeah, Verstappen being 8th place, and quite neatly, all of his previous past Red Bull teammates and current, Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, all close together on this starting grid. But yeah, it's Hamilton and the two Ferraris taking the top 3 spots. Hamilton on pole for this equal car race around Catalonia as we go to forward lights, and we're underway for this alternate Spanish Grand Prix. Sainz gets a good getaway though. Maybe the home crowd may favour him today and be a difference. Tsunoda nearly going to the inside of both of them, and Hamilton fighting back against the Spaniard as Sainz though on the inside gets the better drive off that corner through the long right-hander of turn 3, back up into first place, then defends that overtake successfully. Hamilton having to do some defending against Tsunoda, who showing early on that the qualifying wasn't a fluke. Maybe he's doing very well to stay in 3rd place then. Alonso 4th, Leclerc 5th, Norris 6th, 7th Russell, Zhou Guanyu up into 8th place. Verstappen has actually lost a position or 2, and he's down to 9th, just ahead of Sergio Perez, and then all the previous Red Bull teammates Verstappen has had, Albon and Ricciardo. Gasly in a sandwich of the two Haas cars, but of course it doesn't matter what car they're in, all the cars are on equal performance, so this is all just about the driver. But clearly maybe, I don't know, the location, Catalonia, might make a difference to Carlos Sainz performing better in front of the home crowd. Verstappen though is going to get to work and overtake Zhou Guanyu to retake 8th place. The two of them side by side, actually still into turn 1. Verstappen having to really get on the brakes quite late to get the job done, but he is up that one position, and maybe now this is the beginning of the end for everyone if you go off how 2023 has gone. But with equal cars, it's surely going to be harder for Verstappen to cut through this field, but he's making a move on Russell. Meanwhile, we focus on a fight between Lando Norris and Leclerc. These two close together in the championship in 2023, close together on this track with equal cars. Verstappen has overtaken Russell, and we see Ricciardo ahead of Pierre Gasly, who has cleared the two Haas cars. Those two close together, Ricciardo and Gasly now. Albon hanging onto the back of Sergio Perez, and Zhou Guanyu doing quite well still to be in 9th place. Meanwhile, at the front, Carlos Sainz still leads the way ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Tsunoda amazingly in 3rd place. I don't know what on earth is going on here with the coding right now, but Tsunoda now fighting Fernando Alonso. Is this Alonso arriving onto the scene? The 2-time world champion trying to make that move on the Japanese driver. Hamilton tried an overtake on the race leader, but Sainz remains in 1st place. Alonso up to 3rd, so now 2 Spanish drivers in the top 3. Kind of has me thinking, I've never really thought and believed it, that maybe where the location is does make a difference to how the driver maybe performs. I don't know if there's something in the background in the coding of the game with, you know, the AI nationality lining up with where they are on location. I don't know. I mean, in real life, you'd say that might be a little bit true of them pushing that bit harder, but I've never really thought it'd be here in the game. And like I alluded to, unfortunately, Piastri now down in effectively last place in P20, just showing they really do need to do something about the fact where, you know, F2 drivers, rookie drivers, even if they've actually got that caliber, they just are so nerfed in the game way too much, in my opinion. As we watch now on lap 5, Hamilton is into the lead. He's overtaken Carlos Sainz. It's now Spanish 2-3. Fernando Alonso nipping at the heels maybe of Carlos Sainz, but no, on lap 6, Sainz immediately back at Lewis Hamilton. So we've got a double swap for the race lead twice over, and so already maybe a little bit more action at the forefront. And the crucial thing is everyone is so close together now that you just don't know how it's going to go. Verstappen, you know, all of a sudden is on the back of this big train all the way up to P1. So could he start to climb? As we focus back on, surprise, surprise, Hamilton coming back at Carlos Sainz with some DRS. There goes Verstappen now looking to make the move on Lando Norris. These two going to be wheel to wheel banging tyres nearly into turn 1. Verstappen gets up into 6th place, though, and will try and push away to now close up on that first Ferrari as Hamilton looking in the mirrors on lap 8. We're now getting towards the pit stop window for these drivers. We're doing a 25% simulated race here, so they will be making one pit stop today. Whether they go on mediums or hards, we're going to have to see. Ricciardo and Gasly getting into it. Ricciardo going round the outside then was the insider for turn 1 to get up into P12, and meanwhile at the front then on the next lap, lap 9, Sainz really aggressively squeezing Hamilton to try and defend that position, but Hamilton gets to the inside, gets back into first place. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso biding his time in third place. Is he saving some tyre wear maybe for an attack? He looks pretty close actually to Carlos Sainz here, a lot closer than Sainz is now to Hamilton, but still very impressive by Tsunoda to be in that pack, not being overtaken yet by Leclerc or Verstappen, who is just about arriving on the scene as Lewis continues on. Sainz is in for his pit stop. Fernando Alonso continues on along with Leclerc and Verstappen. So we've got a bunch of other people in the pit lane at the moment, but Hamilton, Alonso, Leclerc, Verstappen will be the top 4, and this might give a bit of clean air for those drivers to maybe make an overcut. The undercut could be on it. It's going to be interesting to see what tyres people choose, from the medium to the hard tyres maybe. Sainz opting for the mediums. I think Tsunoda there on hard, so that's going to be a bit of a difference, and in a 25% race there definitely is some tyre wear involved, so could that be a key difference for Tsunoda at the end of the race? Is that going to be to his detriment though at the start of this stint, with others being quicker, as Hamilton, Alonso, Leclerc and Verstappen all in now, all so close together, and those top 3 teams, Ferrari, Merc and Red Bull, all side by side in the pit lane. So this is going to be all about the pit stop, and Hamilton's been held, and he's lost position to Verstappen and Leclerc and Verstappen jump him as Fernando Alonso almost jumps him, kind of goes through him, but he's lost 2 positions there. So Sainz takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Tsunoda up into 2nd, the undercut working much better. Leclerc's up to 3rd, Lando Norris up into 4th ahead of Verstappen, and Hamilton down to P6. Of course, equal cars, but what you can't equalise are the pit stops, in terms of where they're positioned down the pit lane. Also, I'm pretty sure the pit crew aren't equalised, so it may just be car to car. So in an equal world scenario, well, Ferrari have actually had a blinder here, and they've got their man into 1st, they've got their 2nd man, Leclerc, into 3rd place. Could it even be a Ferrari 1-2 by the end of this? Albon just outside the top 10, Gasly for company maybe. Ricciardo's been screwed over a little bit in the pit stops because he's now down to P15, and so the pit stop window making a huge difference in effect to how this race pans out, with everything else being equal in terms of performance. But this is also, we've got a few different people out of position, that I didn't expect to be where they are from qualifying, I guess. And that's the thing with equal cars, is it's like F1 esports, where there's a lot of DRS training, and so where you qualify is very important indeed. So some of these guys just benefiting from where they qualified. But look at this, Fernando Alonso the long way round. Oh, what a move there for the 2-time champion versus the 7-time champ. Alonso up to P6, Hamilton struggling in this 2nd phase of the Grand Prix, down to P7. They've now both got Sergio Perez for company, who's closed up to them and gotten away from Russell. Meanwhile, you've got a train led by Leclerc ahead of Norris and Verstappen, and like I said, Tsunoda in 2nd place. Well, he's actually got a bit of breathing room. He's 2.8 seconds ahead of this fight. It's 3 wide, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, and Verstappen may just go round the outside of both of them. He has tried it, but Norris ultimately on the inside gets through into P3. Verstappen though up to P4, and Leclerc down 2 positions then. But brilliant to see those 3 teams all level into turn 1, fighting each other, as Hamilton still remains behind Alonso at this stage, but all of them now closing up and bunching up, and that's allowing Tsunoda some breathing room. And Yuki bloody Tsunoda is actually going for the lead. This is incredible. Tsunoda on the outside, he's done it. Yuki Tsunoda's done it. He's into the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Verstappen is up into 3rd place. He's overtaking Lando Norris there, and Alonso has overtaken Leclerc. So we're really getting quite a lot of movement in this 2nd part of the race. People going up and down the field, and it's been a bit of a slow burner, but Verstappen has climbed up from that P9 on lap 1 up to P3 with equal cars. But the bigger story is Yuki Tsunoda. What is going on here? This is a little bit very unexpected, to be honest, as he's fighting Sainz now, as Sainz tries to get back into first place, and he can't. Tsunoda defends. There surely must be some tyre wear involved here now, because he's on the hard Tsunoda, and the rest of them on medium. So maybe now the mediums have gone off to a point where the hard tyre is the better race tyre. And how many times have I said in my team career mode, the hards are a very underrated tyre on this game. They're the tyre to be on in most races, I feel personally. But Sainz does get back into the lead eventually on the second last lap. He's into the lead. Maybe the status quo is, back to how it should be. Verstappen in third, and he's within 1 second now of Tsunoda. So could this be Sainz in first, Verstappen in second by the end of this one? Well, on the last lap of the Grand Prix, Tsunoda's got DRS. Verstappen has as well, but Tsunoda is the one making the move. He's actually going to try and retake the lead of the Grand Prix. On the last lap, Sainz gets a bit crossed up into turn 3. Tsunoda's done it. He's into the race lead, and he's actually pushed away a little bit from Carlos Sainz. Look at that, though. First to 7th place, all nose to tail, pretty much. That is what you get with equal cars. Then there's a bit of a gap to this group of Russell, Perez, and Gasly, all close together. Russell not on the same pace as Hamilton, it would seem, around this place, but he's on the hards as well, Russell, so maybe that's why he's a bit slower. But then saying that, Tsunoda on hard tyres, he's actually done the job, maybe, because we come through the last sector. This is the last chance for Sainz to make a move, and he's not close enough. Verstappen is close to making a move on Carlos Sainz, but Tsunoda is going to hold this through. It kind of makes sense Sainz and Verstappen are up there, because if you look over the course of the season, apart from Verstappen dominating, I think it's been a very strong year for Carlos Sainz, so it makes sense why he's up there in the equal cars. Norris as well, Alonso, but Tsunoda is the big shock here. He's only gone and won this entire race.
Thanks, Ash. Really job. Yeah, I was quite lucky.
Maybe so, Yuki, a little bit lucky, but the rest of the results kind of pan out mostly as you might have expected based off 2023 results, barring a few little hiccups like Piastri, of course, like I mentioned, and maybe Tsunoda just having his blinder. What the hell?
A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. They are very much enjoying a purple patch right now.
As we await the winners to take their positions on the podium, one thing is clear. AlphaTauri have really shown their prowess on the track. This is a team that isn't afraid to take risks, whether that's on the circuit or in the new talent they hire. Well, today, those risks certainly paid off.
So there we have it. That's how an equal car race in 2023 panned out here in Formula 1. Very wacky indeed, and very, very close as well. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.